Do you ever feel like your past is holding you back, but you can't quite put your finger on why? You're not alone. Many people struggle with the aftermath of developmental trauma, often without even realizing it. Developmental trauma, DTD, is a topic that is very close to my heart. It is a condition that affects millions of people around the world, but is still poorly understood. Today we will look at what it really is and why it is crucial to understanding our childhood experiences. DTD is not just another buzzword or a temporary diagnosis, it is a real problem that significantly impacts our daily lives. From the way we build relationships to how we regulate emotions, developmental trauma shapes our worldview. What's more, many people don't even realize they are struggling with it. In simple terms, DTD occurs when we experience traumatic events in childhood, such as physical or emotional abuse, neglect, or domestic violence. These experiences can change the way our brain develops, leading to long-term problems with our mental and emotional health. When we experience developmental trauma, creating healthy relationships can be incredibly difficult. We may struggle with trust, emotional intimacy, and even feeling worthy of love and connection. We may find ourselves drawn to toxic partners or friendships that leave us feeling drained and unhappy. And no matter how hard we try, we just can't shake the feeling of being stuck. Emotion regulation is another major challenge for people with DTD. We may have difficulty managing our emotions, leading to intense mood swings, anxiety, or depression. We may feel like we're constantly walking on eggshells, never knowing when the next emotional storm will hit. And even if we try to push through it, it can be exhausting and debilitating. Self-identity is another area where DTD can have a profound impact. We may struggle to develop a sense of self-worth, leading to low self-esteem, people-pleasing, or a constant need for validation. We may feel like we are living in someone else's shadow, never able to find our own voice or purpose. And the more we struggle, the more we feel like we are losing ourselves in the process. One of the most important challenges with DTD is how it can affect our sense of security. We can feel like we're constantly on high alert, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. We can struggle with sleep disruptions, nightmares, and even physical symptoms like headaches or chronic pain. Developmental trauma can also affect our ability to create healthy boundaries. We may have difficulty saying no to others, leading to burnout, resentment, and even exploitation. We may feel like we are constantly people-pleasing, never able to prioritize our own needs or desires. And the more we struggle, the more we feel like we are losing ourselves in the process. In addition to these challenges, it can also affect our physical health. We can experience chronic pain, autoimmune disorders, and even gastrointestinal issues. We can struggle with our immune system, leading to frequent illness or infections. And while we try to take care of ourselves, we just can't shake the feeling of not feeling well. Of course, one of the most significant effects of DTD is the way it affects our relationships with others. We may have difficulty forming healthy attachments, which leads to difficulties in our romantic relationships, friendships, and even family dynamics. We may feel like we are constantly struggling to connect with others, never being able to find that sense of belonging or community. And the more we struggle, the more we feel alone in it. Abuse, neglect, and exposure to domestic violence are just a few examples of the many forms of developmental trauma that can occur. Each of these experiences can significantly impact our brain development, causing long-lasting effects on behaviors, emotions, and relationships. The scary thing is that these experiences can be incredibly subtle. We may not even realize we are struggling with them until it is too late. When we experience developmental trauma, it can affect the way our brain develops, leading to changes in our neural pathways, neurotransmitters, and even our DNA. These changes can affect our response to stress, emotional regulation, and even our ability to form healthy relationships. And the more we struggle, the more we feel stuck in a cycle of pain and suffering. One of the most powerful stories that illustrates the impact of DTD is the story of a young woman client of mine who struggled with anxiety and depression for years. Growing up, she experienced chronic emotional abuse from her parents, which led to her living a life of low self-esteem, people-pleasing, and even suicidal thoughts. But despite her struggles, she refused to give up. She sought therapy, began practicing self-care, and slowly began to rebuild her self-esteem. And as she did, she began to see incredible changes in her life. She formed healthier relationships, began to pursue her passions, and even began to heal from past traumas. This story is just one example of the profound impact DTD can have on our lives. But it is also a testament to the power of healing and resilience. With the right support, therapy, and self-care, we can begin to overcome even the most difficult experiences. And when we do, we can begin to rebuild our self-esteem, create healthy relationships, and even find a sense of purpose and meaning in our lives. In summary, developmental trauma, DTD, is a complex and multifaceted condition that affects millions of people worldwide. It is a condition that requires compassion, understanding, and support, not stigma or shame. By recognizing the impact of developmental trauma, we can begin to heal, grow, and rebuild our lives. Remember, you are not alone, and with the right support, you can overcome even the most difficult experiences. Share your experiences in the comments and join our community. Together we can support each other on the path to health and peace.